What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Fire Sports 6 podcast. On today's episode, I don't want to call it a lottery preview because, how do you preview the lottery? But it is a really big lottery. And I'm talking about the NBA draft lottery. There's so much implications. There's some really good basketball teams that have a chance to secure a top player. And this year's class is pretty fucking stacked. I wouldn't be surprised if we get 5 or 6 all-star caliber year in, year out players out of this class. And that's just in the top 4. Like 4 of those 5 or 6 could literally be the first 4 picks. And then I think there's really good depth in this class as well. So I'm going to go based off of vibes today, and I'm going to give you guys my top 10 players. Monday after the lottery, I'll do a full breakdown of this year's class. But there's so much implications going into this year's draft lottery. We have a team in the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have a 0.3% worse chance than the team that got the number 1 overall pick last year. That's the Thunder's chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. Probably not going to happen, but it would be insane. If the Thunder they're probably going to get from 10 to 14. That's where the odds are right now. Even if they get that type of pick, we're looking at a Keaton Wagler, Michael Brown Jr., Nate Amen, maybe an Ade Mara, a Koa Pete. No matter which way you slice it, the Thunder are going to get, at worst, and they draft really, really well. They took AJ Mitchell from UC Santa Barbara in the late second round. That guy has been disgusting for them in the playoffs. So they're going to get a guy, and I doubt they whiff on the pick, like a LeBaron Philon. Looking at some of these names here. Christian Anderson, Tyler Tanner. These are 2 guys projected in the mid to late first. Those guys are gonna be nasty. Yaxel Lendenberg. Even if the Thunder don't get a top 6, 7 pick, and they're not getting an Acuff or a Wagler or one of the big 4, and I do think there is a big 4 in this draft class. Caleb Wilson is as good, if not better, than Cam Boozer. He outplayed Cam Boozer in the one matchup they did have against each other. Boozer's a better passer, but he does have, and they are about the same size in terms of height. Honestly, I feel like Caleb Wilson might be taller. He's more athletic. He's longer. He just doesn't have a jump shot, and he's not as good of a playmaker as Cam Boozer is, but he is more athletic, better defender, better driver, post scorer, is about the same, and Boozer's a 4, and Wilson's on the wing. So I really do like Caleb Wilson a lot. But then DeBance and Peterson, I think, they should be the first 2 picks in this year's draft. Either way, there's a lot of stuff that can happen, and it starts with the Thunder. As NBA fans, we want to see that Clippers pick come as early as possible. We want to see that Clippers ball come as early as possible, because the Thunder getting a stud, bad for league. Bad for league. We saw they get every whistle. Listen, the Thunder are annoying. I understand that, but I think the unethical stuff was getting a little bit blown out of proportion. And then game 2 happened. And the Lakers were just getting hosed every which way. The amount of ticky-tacky fouls they called against LA, but then that energy just wasn't reciprocated on the other end with the Thunder. LeBron was getting hacked sometimes. There was the one where it was so obviously continuation, they called it on the floor. There was the Chet Holmgren obvious flop. And I feel like we have to start penalizing people for flopping, especially if you go to the review and you see that he's obviously flopping, tee him up. It was a little bit of a foul on Ayton because he was creating space, but it was very ticky-tacky. So still call the foul on Ayton to be okay, Chet was flopping, excessive flopping, tee him up, 1 shot, Lakers, then we'll resume, and LA will get the ball at this end because it was by rule a foul on Ayton, but Chet acted like he got hit in the face. He didn't get hit in the fucking face. And it's just the Thunder don't help themselves, and the refs were fucking awful. Awful. The Thunder were all over the Lakers. The Lakers had 20 turnovers, but it's they also had 8 more free throws. And if you called the game the same way that you they shouldn't have had 20 turnovers without at least 3 or 4 more fouls, and that drops the turnover number down. There was one that counts as a turnover for LA where LeBron is literally just jogging, and Alex Caruso stands in front of him, and Alex Caruso gets hit, takes a dive, turnover. It's just the softest things. But either way, that's not the point of this video right now. We're talking about the draft. But we don't want the Thunder to get another nasty player because they already have the refs on their side, at least against the Lakers. They did him for part of the year. Shea's just good at getting to the line. Like, it's not an SGA thing. Like, they're so obviously making it a point. Hey, the refs are going to give us every call. Let's exaggerate everything. They've obviously made that a point, which is soft, pussy, whatever. But then they're going to get a top 10 pick if they can get like a Koa Pete, a Braden Burries. If Nate Ament falls to the Thunder, bro, if Michael Brown falls to the Thunder, oh, that's disgusting, dude. That's disgusting. Like, those are two guys that were projected top 5 picks at the start of the year. Ament struggled early on for Tennessee. He averaged like 25 for a stretch there in February in SEC play. Struggled in the tournament, but he's 6'10", can create his own shot. Good defense. Like, he's a dog if he can develop a little bit. And then Michael Brown was awesome when he was on the floor. There was just some injury concerns. If one of those guys falls to like 9 or 10 and the Thunder are able to swoop one of those guys up, that can be instant role players tomorrow and also has elite upside. Like, oh, that's just not ideal. So NBA fans, we want to see this Clippers pick come up as fast as possible. Now, the other situation to watch, there's a few. The Bucks own both the Pelicans and their own pick. So they own the rights to their pick and the Pelicans pick, but the Hawks have the right to the better pick of the two. It's a little complicated, but let's say the Pelicans get the first overall pick, the Bucks get the second overall pick. The Bucks would keep their own pick, the Hawks would get the first overall pick. So the Bucks have their pick, the Bucks have the Pelicans pick. Whichever is more favorable of those two picks, the Hawks get. And that's huge because the Hawks are a team that has a really solid young core, Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels. If they can add another guy, particularly a younger guard, I think that the Hawks can be a real problem. And they gave the Knicks a little bit of a run for their money. They were up 2-1 in the series, and then the Knicks just turned everything on, and it was good night. Let me get the Hawks roster in front of me. I feel like I'm brain farting. They obviously have CJ McCollum, but who else? Zachary Ricochet. So the Hawks could be in a position. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, okay, forgot about a most improved player. Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels. Like, they're in a position where if they add if they get a top 5 pick, let me look at the odds for the Pelicans. So the Pelicans were looking at potential top, right now it's looking like 7, 8, or 9. But they have a 6% chance. So, and the Bucks are a little bit lower. So it's likely going to be the Pelicans pick. If the Pelicans can get up to top 5, or if the Hawks get a top 4 pick, whether it's the Bucks or the Pelicans, and they're able to secure a Wilson, Boozer, Peterson, or DeBansa, that team's going to be contending in the East for the next 5 years, 10 years at least. They should be anyway, unless there's some injuries or some real roster mismanagement. That'd be nasty. Well, how has Zachary Ricochet even played, bro? What is that? Was his third year this year? Second year this year? Third year this year? Second year this year. 12 points per game. All right. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of Hawks basketball, and even in the playoffs, I feel like he's a rotational piece. They took him fucking 101, bro. What the fuck? But yeah, the Hawks, they're in an interesting spot here for sure. And then what's the other one? The Pacers. So if the Pacers if the Pacers get the 5th or the 6th overall pick, that becomes the Clippers pick. I don't fucking know how any of this works, so I'm not going to tell you why the situations are what the situations are, but that is unreal. That if the Pacers get 5 or 6, the Clippers come in, the Clippers lose their first round pick, so they could have a first round pick, but it would only be at 5 or 6, which would be like Keaton Wagler, Darius Acuff range. If the Pacers don't get 5 or 6, the Clippers don't have a first round pick, that goes to the Thunder, which will be, it's unprotected. Wherever it is, it is. And then you have the Pelicans and the Bucks. The Bucks have the right to both of those picks, and whichever picks is more favorable is going to be the pick that the Hawks get. There we go. And the Nets are guaranteed a top 7 pick. That's where I want to focus now. Well, I don't talk about the Brooklyn Nets a lot. You probably don't even know I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, chat, but I am. And they had 5 first-round picks last year. It was a developmental year for the Nets. They're the youngest team in the NBA. They have a bunch of cap room. If they can get a top 4 pick, take whoever they want. And I really do like all of these guys. Obviously, I want Peterson or DeBansa. Obviously. But if I have Boozer or Wilson, I wouldn't be that upset. Obviously, I'm more excited for Wilson than Boozer because he's more flashy, he's more fun to watch than Boozer is. But Boozer is phenomenal in his own right. And he is the youngest out of all of them, not that it really matters. But like, if they get one of those guys, I want the Nets to try and trade for Jaylen Brown. Give me Jaylen Brown, Yegor Demin, Cam Boozer, Danny Wolf, fucking Nolan Traore, like Noah Clowney. They still have work to do on the roster. Benjamin Suraf, like, dude, all of the person. Oh, whatever. Either way. But even if the Nets don't get one of the top 4 picks, I would be completely okay with the Kingston Flemings, a Keaton Wagler, or a Darius Acuff, which seems like that is the top 7. In my mind, anyway, and without like diving deeper into it, that is the top 7 in this year's draft. You have the top 4 with Wilson, Boozer, Peterson, DeBansa. You can order them however you want, although I think you're a clown if you have DeBansa or Peterson not at 1. But and Boozer and Wilson, you can order those guys however you want. But those are the top 4. Then it's Flemings, Wagler, Acuff. And I think there's a little bit of a gap after those guys. But I'm not going to also sit here and say that Koa Pete, Nate Ament, Michael Brown Jr. couldn't be better than any of those guys. I just think they were more proven across their collegiate career. And that's not really Michael Brown's fault. He was injured a lot at Louisville. And when he was on the floor, he was spectacular. Koa Pete, he probably could have risen, like his draft stock would have probably been higher if he didn't go to a team in Arizona that had a bunch of studs and Braden Burries, Jaden Bradley, All-American, Big 12 Player of the Year, Matach Krivon. Like they had a bunch of guys, so his numbers weren't going to be inflated, and he did suffer an injury a little bit late in February. But either way, after Acuff, Wagler, Flemings, Wilson, Boozer, Peterson, DeBansa, I think there is a slight drop off in like how confident I am in this next group of guys. That is like Nate Ament, Michael Brown, LeBaron Philon. I think that's a little high for Philon, but he's a dog. Koa Pete, Matach, or not Matach, Ademara, Yaxel Lendenborg. I almost said Christian Anderson. I love there's some sleepers in this year's draft that when you look at the back portion of the obviously Bennett Sturts is not a sleeper, but he was nasty at Iowa. Like a Christian Anderson or a Tyler Tanner. Anderson from Texas Tech, Tyler Tanner from Vanderbilt. I think those guys are some mid-round studs. What are some day 2 guys? JT Toppin on day 2, would love that. Braden Smith seems like he could come in and be a Tyus Jones and just run an offense. Who else is on in these later rounds? Milos Uzan, Emmanuel Sharp, Milan Momcilovic. He might go back to school though. Ryan Conwell, the other guard for Louisville, was nasty last year. He could be a day 2 a sleeper. Floyd Badunga's on here. Why is Flo Badunga? Like a lot of these guys are going back to school. Malik Thomas. This Tankathon has Malik Thomas mocked to the Nets in the 2nd round. I would fucking love that. He was a dog. Abuka Corey. I didn't realize Abuka Corey's 6'2". He's not 6'2". Tankathon's got to update their shit, but he's a guard from Stanford. He was like top 3 in the nation in scoring. Like this is such. Not only is it an elite at the top, but it's such a deep draft. But of course, the Nets had 5 first-round picks in the year prior. But that's what's going on. And I'll give you guys my top 10 players in this year's draft strictly off of vibes. At number 10 right now, I have Michael Brown Jr. Number 9, I have Koa Pete. Number 8, I have Nate Ament. Number 7, I have Kingston Flemings. Number 6, I have Darius Acuff. Number 5, I have Keaton Wagler. And here's my logic. Wagler, I think, has the highest floor out of Acuff and Flemings. He's not like undersized the way Acuff is. He's not a complete liability. He also can score the way Acuff and Flemings can. It wasn't as consistent, and it's more dependent on his shot falling than getting to the cup, and that's where Acuff and Flemings, like their first step, their explosiveness is nasty. Wagler doesn't quite have that explosiveness, although he can. He's still a threat to drive to the rim. He's more of a ball handler, shot creator. Not that Acuff and Flemings aren't, but when his shot's falling, he's disgusting. He can get any shot he wants on the floor. Just go ask Purdue. He had 40-something in Mackey. Wagler's also the best passer of the bunch, and I just think he's going to translate. Like this guy, shout out Tyler. I don't know if Tyler listens, but he made a point in one of my live streams. He was like, Wagler reminds me a lot of Halliburton. And ever since he said that, I just can't get that thought out of my head. And I think Wagler might be like a better shot creator, like initially, than Halliburton is. Halliburton's a better playmaker for sure at Iowa State. But either way, I like Wagler. And then I have Boozer at 4, Wilson at 3, Peterson at 2, DeBansa at 1. DeBanson and Peterson is interesting, but I feel like DeBanson's floor is higher. He's just as skilled as a scorer, I would argue, like maybe slightly less in terms of his ability. I don't know though. Like, what can Peterson do from a scoring standpoint that Debansa can't? And Debansa's 4 inches taller, didn't miss games with cramps, and like to be on the floor at all times. You know, like, well, I honestly don't know. Like, Darren Peterson, there's nothing Darren Peterson can do offensively that AJ Debansa can't. You could argue like his layup packages around the rim, like Darren Peterson had some crazy lays, I guess. But Devanza gets to the free throw line better. He's bigger, better defender. Even though, dude, DP is nasty. He was a great defender. Like, Kansas had one of the best defenses for KenPom in the country last year. So they're both nasty. I love Peter. Like, Peterson's just so silky smooth to watch. Debanza, I just feel like, can do everything Darren Peterson can do offensively, and he's 3 inches taller. That's really what it comes down to. And he didn't miss games for cramps. So, and then as far as the Boozer Wilson things, I think Caleb Wilson has the highest ceiling out of anybody in this draft. I think athletically, he's more athletically inclined than AJ Debansa, but he's not as skilled scoring the basketball as Debansa is. Debansa has a 3.3 level score. Caleb Wilson can't really shoot, but he's way more of a threat. Like in the low post, he's way more of a threat on the block. He's way more of a threat coming downhill and attacking the lane or attacking the rim, and he's a way better defender than Debansa. Not way better. Way better is crazy, but he is the best defender. I think not interior defender, like not not including your Ed Maras. Like, I think Caleb Wilson can be an instant starter because like productive starter because of his defensive ability. But then again, he's not going to be able to space the floor, and he probably is going to be a 4 or 5. But okay, he needs a jumper. Like, Caleb Wilson needs a jumper. I think his floor is a Sar Thompson right away. Like, his floor is one of the Thompson twins right away, but probably a better scorer, quite frankly. Yeah, I like Caleb Wilson a lot. If he can get a jumper and improve his handle a little bit, he can be a dog. And then yeah, that's how it is. So I have Wilson at 4, Boozer at 3. You want a top 4 pick? I think those guys are all going to be really, really solid players. Top 7 is ideal, and then after 7, I think there's a little bit of a drop off. But either way, this year's draft is insanity. Hit that thumbs up button. Follow for more. Subscribe for more. Let's talk about. My computer's fucking glitching, bro. Brand new computer, by the way. Brand new fucking computer, by the way. There we go. We're going to do top 5 bros of the week. Let's dive right into it really quickly here. Not that quickly, but let's just dive right into it. Number 5 and number 4. Skip Bayless at 5. Stephen A. Smith at 4. They're bringing it back. I don't know when you guys are listening to this, but honestly, turn this shit off right now and go fire up First Take, because Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless are back. And yes, they are both, I don't know, I'm going to say they're both stupid. Skip Bayless is the worst sports talk personnel. I don't think I can name a single correct take he's ever had. Stephen A. Smith, on the other hand, I think he's got good basketball takes. I think Stephen A. Smith knows his shit when it comes to the NBA. Football, really any other sport. I don't give a fuck about what Stephen A. has to say. But he does know his shit when it comes to the NBA. Skip Bayless doesn't know his shit when it comes to any realm of human endeavor. So for that reason, I put Stephen A. at 4, Skip at 5. I'm happy that they're back. They're entertaining when they're debating one another. And it's going to be cinematic. I'm excited for it. Number 3, top 5 bros week, Anthony Edwards. I mean, he's probably been on this list more than anybody besides, obviously, you know who always finishes number 1. But he's just unbelievable. They were interviewing him after they got blown out by San Antonio, and he looked just unbelievably calm and not fazed by the moment, not fazed by the game. He was like, yeah, their defense they were playing was crazy, huh? Yeah, we just got to make more shots, man. Jaden McDaniel's got to stay out of foul trouble, man. We know it, and they know it. We need him on the floor. They were happy. They were celebrating when Jaden got in foul trouble. He needs to be on the floor. And yeah, man, I mean, we're going to be all right. We just need to make more shots. We need to make more shots, get them out of their press earlier, and that'll be that. I need to be more aggressive early on in the game. Dude, you just lost by fucking 40 to Wembanyama in the playoffs. He was so calm, cool, collected, articulate. And the thing with Anthony Edwards is he's so cool that sometimes you forget he might be a deadbeat dad. And that really does rub me the wrong way. And I was genuine. Yo, I swear. This is what I was thinking about today in the shower at the gym before going to work. I'm like, Anthony Edwards has 4 baby mamas in the span of 2 years, 4 different children. How do you even recover from something like that in terms of like making sure that these these babies have like good upbringings, good childhoods? And I thought this is all theoretical. Add the baby mamas, 4 of them, to a group chat. Be like, hey, I'm sorry I was definitely not a good guy to all of you. I was being a player, but here we are. There's no sense if we get angry with one another. There's no sense if we bicker with one another. I just think we should all be on the same page because I want the best for each and every one of my daughters. I think that's the play. Would that go over well? I don't know, because there's a lot of variables that we have to put into play here. Are they all located in Minnesota? I find that highly unlikely. Anthony Edwards is from Atlanta. I would wager more of them are from Atlanta than Minnesota, number one. Number two, he travels a lot. So these baby mamas and his children are probably all in separate areas of the country. He paid off the child support in full for all 4 of them, by the way. I think they need to be within vicinity so Ant can still spend time with his kids. And it's going to be hard to do that if they're all spread across the country. So this is what Anthony Edwards should do. 2 houses. He's got a $250 million fucking contract. He's got Nike deals. He's got shoe brands. He's the face of the NBA. He's a dog. Get 2 duplexes or get a quad. Get a quad family. I don't know how to pronounce it. 4-unit apartment building. Nice one in Minnesota, the suburbs of Minnesota, or maybe if it doesn't have to be Minnesota, it can be in Atlanta, and then maybe you have another property in Minnesota that you just rent. You rent out during the summer. You live there during the season. 2. This is what we're doing. 2 quad whatever it is. 2 4 apartment. How am I trying? Water break. Timeout. My time. Timeout. 30-second timeout. 30-second timeout. An apartment building with 4 apartments. You get 2 of those. 2 of those. One in Atlanta, because I would wager a good amount of these baby moms and these children are in Atlanta. One in Minnesota. During the season, you have them in Minnesota. During the summer, I'm assuming Ant goes and frequents Atlanta in the summer. He has them in Atlanta. This way, you come home. You got a piece of ass. I'm sure. Actually, you can't do that. No, cut that. You can't do the piece of ass part. You can't be banging anymore. These baby mamas are off limits for the rest of your life because that would set a bad precedent to the rest of these baby mamas that you need to have a good relationship with for the betterment of that child if you're Anthony Edwards here. So you can't be, no more. You're done. You're Anthony Edwards. You can bang pretty much anything you want. No more banging these baby mamas. You have to set that in the group text. And go back to the original group text. You have to send that right away. Be like, hey, I know I screwed up. I played you guys, whatever. Let's make this work for the kids. And I'm hoping Anthony Edwards is doing this because he's the coolest guy ever. He's got the most aura, the best TikTok edits, and he's just a dog. Best American player right now. I'm pretty sure. Got to be the best American player right now. Right? SGA is Canadian, pussy. Wemby is French, pussy. Jokic is, yeah. He's better than Tatum, better than Cade, better than Brunson. Yeah. Am I missing somebody? Embiid is not healthy. Also, what, French? I guess American. Joel doesn't count. He's on the Olympic team. He doesn't count American. Either way, we're going on quite the tangent here, but hear me out. Anthony Edwards needs to do this so that he can be a cool guy forever and not a deadbeat dad, because I think he's the coolest basketball player in the NBA right now, and I would hate rooting for somebody that is just a not present father. So, get a couple of properties, one in Minnesota, one in Atlanta. Have these baby mamas. They don't have to cross paths with each other except in the parking garage. But quite frankly, you're rich enough where you can get apartments where there's elevators right to the garage and they don't even have to see each other. But you also have to do your rounds. Just after practice, Go say hello and hang out 20 minutes with each kid. Be a present father. Be involved in their lives. Take them with you to the games. Lou Williams times 2. For those of you who don't know, Lou Williams would have 2 girlfriends, bring them to the game. Lou Williams times 2. Have all 4 of your baby mamas with all of your kids in a fucking private suite up there in Minnesota. You're the franchise player. You can do whatever you want. You ask them for a cure to cancer, they're going to find it for you. That's Minnesota hospitality. I think that's the play here for Mr. Anthony Edwards. But it is that's got to be a brutal thing to navigate. Wrap it up, dude. Wrap up your wiener, man. For real. But yeah, 4 baby mamas within the span of, let me Google it actually. I know it is 4. I Googled this the other day. Anthony Edwards' children. As of 2026, Minnesota Timberwolves star Anthony Edwards is reported to have 4 children with 4 different women. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. Aislinn, Aubrey, Eris, Amir. He has 3 daughters and 1 son. Born in the son is born in 2023/2024. The 3 daughters, 1 in 23, 2 in 24. So they're all relatively the same age. Just have these people in the same quadplex hanging out, bro. It'll be like a mini Edwards college campus, like a Anthony Edwards University. I think that's a fine idea, man. As long as the moms are on board with it. If the moms are not out, it says influencer Aisha Howard, girlfriend Shannon Jackson. So scratch all of that off the board here. What I said about you can't be banging one of the baby mamas because the other baby mamas will feel some type of way. So girlfriend Shannon Jackson, influencer Aisha Howard, and then these other 2, it's just a woman named Deja. And all right, Chat GPT, that's kind of rude. Influencer Aisha Howard, girlfriend Shannon Jackson, daughter with a woman. Sick title, Deja. And then Alexandra DeRoches. I don't even know. Wait, Aisha Howard claims NBA star Anthony Edwards intentionally hid assets. Oh, she has got some assets. Oh, she didn't talk about assets, Aisha Howard, to avoid child support decision in California. Bro, you're Anthony Edwards. Why would you have to? She is. Oh, my goodness. Shout out Ian. Ian always talks about birthing hips. That's what we talk about. We talk about birthing hips. This Aisha Howard's got him. What a cute baby. Yeah, Aunt, just lock the. This guy's, he's definitely not a good guy. He's definitely, I hate to say, he's definitely not a good guy. I'm trying to defend him. Insert the Jameis Winston meme. And now he's got to overcome another obstacle. And I'm going to be there for him. And he's defending a rapist, Deshaun Watson. So it's a tough scene here for Ant. I want to root for the guy. I love rooting for the guy. But it seems like he's not a good guy. I has 4 children in the span of 24 months with 4 different women. You're dating one of them. You hid assets so you didn't have to pay child support with the other one, but then eventually he did. He paid all the child support in full. You've got enough. I think put these guys in Atlanta. Or honestly, it doesn't even need to be an apartment building. Buy 4 separate fucking houses on the same street in Atlanta and in Minnesota. Rent them out as B&Bs when you're not there. And boom. Now you've got another financial asset. You've got your baby mamas and your children all in one place. Then rent out a suite for them all in at Minnesota, whatever their gym is called, whatever it's called, the arena they play in. And boom. And Anthony Edwards back to being a good guy. But either way, Anthony Edwards is number 3 here on Top 5 Bros of the Week. And then at number 2, give me Timothy Chalomet for saying fuck you to the Met Gala, respect off the rip, and showing up to the Knicks game instead of going to the fucking Met Gala. I'm like Ben Stiller. I don't know what Ben Stiller's like. Yeah, I'd much rather be at the Knicks game than the Met Gala. Like you didn't actively make the decision to go to the Met Gala instead. You fucking rat. What are you talking about, Ben Stiller? Shut up. Yeah, those are your top 5 bros of the week, man. What else? What else is there that I want to talk about today? I don't know. Go listen to yesterday's episode, UFC breakdown. Make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Yeah, I love you guys, man. Yeah, that was quite the Anthony Edwards segment. I'm not gonna lie. Hopefully, none of my close family listens to that. No, they can listen to that. I think that was all valid, though. I made a bunch of valid points. I think I was making valid points. Really entertaining guy. Really fun to watch on a basketball court. Absolute dog. Ice cold killer. Best American athlete. Played with no legs. No legs. Hyperextended bone bruise. Still playing. Clutch buckets in the fourth quarter, game one. In Wemby's house. Took down the Spurs in game one. Split on the road. Come back to Minnesota. He's a fucking dog, but might not be a good guy, and that hurts my feelings. I'm not okay with that. And number one was Garrett Wilson. Obviously, he's the goat. Shout out Garrett Wilson. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys later, man. I love you guys. Hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, and I'll talk to you guys in the next episode of the Fire Sports Takes podcast.